And to be honest with you, Canada only works as a state. It doesn't, we don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway.
First of all, what the heck is he talking about? Annexing a sovereign country over some made-up economic nonsense? Second, as a friend of mine says, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Americans will pay more for goods and services, and Canada will have no choice but to retaliate with new tariffs. Canadians are angry about this irrational 51st state talk. We need to put anger into action. Don't support the following 25 American grocery products. Cheerios, part of the Minneapolis-based General Mills cereal empire, are produced in the US and shipped to Canada. Boycott them. Look for other products that support Canadian jobs, like Shreddies. Other brands to consider are Life cereal, made in Peterborough, Ontario, and Weetabix cereal, made in Cobourg, Ontario. Canadians love their coffee, and Folgers is a popular brand. But it's time to switch from this Louisiana-made coffee to a Canadian brand. Folgers is owned by Smuckers, a company that seems to produce nothing in Canada. Options to support Canadian are Kicking Horse Coffee from Invermere, BC, Café William from Sherbrooke, Quebec, or Muskoka Roastery Coffee Company from Ontario. Sabra makes many kinds of hummus. How did they become so dominant? Well, probably because they're owned by PepsiCo. The hummus is produced in Virginia and shipped to Canada. Some are fresh, Fontaine Santé, and grocery store house brands like Compliments, Farm Boy, and President's Choice are all better Canadian-owned options. Red Baron Pizza is made in Salina, Kansas, and shipped to Canada. Don't buy it. It doesn't support one Canadian job. Instead, buy brands like Mike's, Rustica, and Giuseppe. Most frozen pizzas in Canada are made by Dr. Oetker in London, Ontario. There they make 400,000 pizzas per day, including Giuseppe. Bisquick pancake mix was much more popular a couple of decades ago, and in terms of pancake mixes, there are far better options, all made or prepared in Canada. Dump Bisquick and try these Canadian options. Coyote, made in McGrath, Alberta. Anita's, made in Chilliwack, BC, and is gluten-free. And Cache Cuisine, made in Mississauga. Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce is manufactured in Tennessee, home to their famous whiskey as well. Canadians have already pulled the whiskey from shelves, so it's time to remove the barbecue sauce as well. Canadian brands to support include Cattle Boys from Alberta, Wild Fork based in Vaughan, Ontario, and house brands like Western Family, sold at Save On Foods. Mrs. Butterworth is made in Illinois and sold at grocery stores in Canada. Its number one ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Switch to Canadian-made brands like Jakeman's that have real maple syrup in them. Steve's Maple Syrup from New Brunswick and Maple Crest 100% pure maple syrup are two other options available at grocery stores. Franco American gravy is, as the name says, American. It's made by Campbell's in the USA, and we will get to more on them later on. Canadian brands I found on most grocery store shelves are Saint Hubert, Cordon Bleu, and Clubhouse gravy packets. If you're going to make poutine, you've got to use a Canadian product. Old El Paso Salsa is made in Texas, right? Actually, it's made in Spain, but owned by American company General Mills. Why would Canadians support an American company who even shut down their American operations? They said goodbye to Texas over 20 years ago. Buy Canadian instead. Neil Brothers Salsa, Wildly Delicious, and Old Dutch are all made by Canadian workers and are widely available.
Why don't they have salsa on the table?
What do you need salsa for?
Salsa is now the #1 condiment in America.
Do you know why? Because people like to say salsa.
Carbone tomato sauce started in a New York City restaurant and is now manufactured in Pennsylvania. Arrivederci Carbone. Stefano and Olivieri tomato sauces are two brands made in Canada. I'd also suggest using Canadian tomatoes like Elmer brand to make your own sauce. The canned tomatoes are produced in Ontario and are available across the country. Orville Redenbacher sounds like a made-up name, but those old enough to remember his commercials can vouch that he was a real person. Unfortunately, his popcorn is owned by a conglomerate and produced in Indiana. Canadians should look to Pop-Tastic, made in British Columbia, Purposeful Popcorn made in Ontario, and President's Choice Popcorn, prepared in Canada and available at Shoppers Drug Mart. Eggo Waffles are a Kellogg's product. While Kellogg's does make some products in Canada, Eggos are made in the US and shipped to Canada. Switch to an all-Canadian brand instead like Belle Gouf or Farmer's Market. If you have a waffle maker at home, try Flourish, a waffle mix with added protein that's based out of Toronto. A Caesar is one of the most popular weekend drinks in Canada, but if you're making your cocktail with Mott's Clamato, you're actually filling it with an American product. This actually shocked me, as Caesars are way less popular in the US. For a substitute, try Matt and Steve Caesar from Mississauga, Walter Caesar Mix from Vancouver, and Simps Modern Beverage Original Caesar Mix from Kelowna. Have you been boycotting any American products? Is there a Canadian food product you love and want the world to know about? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and spotlight it in a future video. RXBARs are protein bars that I quite enjoy, but they're made in the US and easily replaceable. Canadian brands include Pure Protein from Newmarket, Ontario, Love Good from Mississauga, Ontario, and Simply Protein from Toronto. Bolthouse Farms products are produced in California. They make fruit and vegetable juices. Stop buying them. There are plenty of local options to buy. Keju Organic, Oasis Health Break, Greenhouse Juice Company, and Pulp and Press Juice Company are all Canadian owned. Taylor Farm sells a wide variety of pre-packed salad kits at most Canadian grocery stores. They are based in California, and as far as I can tell, do not employ any Canadians. I'm switching to locally grown lettuce and spinach, using Canadian brands like Inspired Greens Living Lettuce, Aqua Verte, and Mucci Farms. Betty Crocker cake mixes are made in the US by General Mills. If you're looking for Canadian-made cake mixes, I suggest the following: President's Choice, available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Real Canadian Superstore, No Frills, Loblaws, and more. Compliments brand, available at Freshco, Sobeys, and Safeway. And Kirkin is from Prince Edward Island and produces gluten-free cake mixes. I always thought that Annie's was a smaller company who focused on making organic foods. Well, perhaps they were, but now they are owned by repeat boycott offender General Mills. Ditch them for Canadian options like Etal Pasta's mac and cheese, Kraft Dinner, which is made in Canada, and Giant Tiger has a frozen family-size mac and cheese. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts are manufactured in America. The main factory is located in Arkansas. There aren't a lot of Canadian competitors for this product. Even Pillsbury Toaster Strudel is made in the US. My substitute for this? Just don't buy them. I know that doesn't sound helpful, but there is no Canadian option I can find. Other American products with no good substitutes are Chef Boyardee, Shake and Bake, and Hamburger Helper. Perhaps there are no competitors because the market for them is dying, or they hold a monopoly. Either way, boycott them. Crave frozen meals are made in the USA and shipped to Canada. How do I know? It says so right on the front of the packaging. There are better Canadian options to buy than this offering from Kraft Heinz. In the frozen food section at your grocery store, look for Soul Cuisine, a Canadian company based in Mississauga, or look for house brands like Irresistibles and President's Choice. All have a variety of frozen individual meals that are made in Canada. M&M Foods is another popular option, but be sure to check the label on any of these products. Jell-O is also owned by Kraft Heinz. Unfortunately, this large company makes all Jell-O and Jell-O pudding south of the border and sends it to Canada. When looking for a Canadian-made substitute, try Dr. Oetker's Sheriff brand for pudding. For a Jell-O substitute, try Selection brand at Metro and Food Basics. It's made in Canada. Another brand, Jellicious, is made in Ontario and is vegan. Silk almond milk is a popular dairy substitute. However, it is made in Colorado and not in Canada. Drop Silk and try a Canadian dairy substitute like Earth's Own, which is made across Canada, Natura, which is made in Quebec, and Enjoy, made in Sudbury, Ontario. If you're looking at getting a weekly meal delivery service, you might want to take a pass on HelloFresh. It's an American company, and they also own Chef's Plate. There is no need to use a company that likely sources many of their ingredients from the US as well. There's plenty of excellent Canadian options to choose from. Good Food is based in Montreal and has high-quality options. Fresh Prep is based in Vancouver, and Rooted Meal Prep was founded in Calgary. Campbell's Chunky Soup is made in the USA and imported to Canada. That's the same as the rest of the products on this list. However, what makes this product particularly sketchy is the logo they put on it. On the front of the label, there is a white circle with a red maple leaf that says Designed in Canada. What does that even mean? Further below that, it says Made in the USA. So I think they are saying the recipe is Canadian. But that still doesn't make sense, as many of the types they make are the same in the US. Do they mean the label was designed in Canada? If so, this is extremely deceptive marketing. This product should be at the top of everyone's boycott list. If you want some quality, Canadian-made soup, there are way better options. Try Healthy Planet, made in BC and Ontario, and Sprague Soups from Belleville, Ontario. Many grocery store house brands are made in Canada, like the Giant Value branded Giant Tiger. And none of these brands use deceptive marketing like saying they were designed in Canada. My last American product to boycott is related to food, but a bit different. Uber Eats is based in the USA and a service I try to avoid. I don't see how anyone working for them can even make minimum wage in Canada, especially when factoring in they have to use their car. My advice, either find a restaurant that has their own delivery service or pick up the food yourself. Both you and the local restaurant will be better off financially. Saving money and supporting local businesses. It sounds like a win-win. There you have it. 25 more Made in America products to boycott. We must fight back against this insanity. It's a small sacrifice we can all make to ensure we are fighting back against annexation and tariffs. Plus, it's supporting Canadian jobs and Canadian brands, who frequently make better and healthier products for us. Not sure about some other brands? I've got you covered. My most recent video spotlights 25 other US brands to boycott. Some that were made in the US and not in Canada really surprised me. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my other upcoming videos. I try to do at least one per week. This has been the Price Check Expert. Thanks for watching.